Welcome to the Impactivist Show.
I wanted to make change at a community level without being elected.
I see change moving forward in having these conversations, but not just with me, not just with people of color.
The circumstances of your childhood do not determine who you are as an adult.
I am the face of domestic violence.
The stuff in your life is good. You just don't want to cling to it.
You can walk away from what society says we're supposed to want and have and need and all of those things.
And that's the things that what's so great about people in general is that we can adapt. We just got to be open to change.
I believe that I was left behind for a purpose, to serve.
I saw that my life was a vast, glowing, empty page, and I could do anything I wanted.
Hey, my friends, this is Tom Cotter, and you're listening to The Impactivist Show. This is a podcast that connects you with ideas, habits, and leaders who are making an impact in their community and across the globe. In this podcast, you'll be inspired by their stories and their struggles. You'll learn tips and strategies to enhance your own personal growth, your life, and become the very best version of yourself that you can be. And you'll walk away with a renewed sense of empowerment and motivation to make an impact in your world right where you are. So welcome to the Impactivist Show, where inspiration and ideas collide. Thanks for being here. Hey y'all, it's Tom. Listen, I wanted to share something with you. I've been kind of working this out in my own head over the last 2 or 3 months. And I shared this with a group in another city this week. And so I wanted to drop it and put it out to you. Maybe it'll help. Y'all, going into this new year, I've realized a couple of things. One is that life is a game of inches sometimes, and you have to sit and decide, okay, when we come out of this, like, where do I want to be? What do I want to be doing? Who do I want to be? And so what I've decided to do is I've decided to double down on some of those inches, if that makes sense. And here's the deal. Heather and I watched a show on Netflix a couple of weeks ago. And in this show, this plane full of people was headed to Hawaii. But the GPS was off just about like a degree, like not much, but just, a degree or so. And instead of landing in Hawaii, they crashed on an island near Peru, which is a huge difference, right? Do I want to go to Hawaii? Do I want to go to Peru? I'd rather go to Hawaii, and I'd rather not crash in Peru. So my thought is I'd like to take just the 1 degree, man, just those little small changes that we can make in our lives, and I can make in my life, and just tweak those little bitty things to get where I want to get. So what I want to do is I'm going to share this with you. I want to talk about getting our vibes right this year. V.I.B.E.S, vibes. If you're listening to this on iTunes or iHeart or Spotify or Google Podcasts or whatever, then I'm going to try to make this real clear. If you're watching this on YouTube, then I'll put up some graphics as we go along where you can kind of take notes. And I really, really, really encourage you, get your phone out, take notes on your phone. I know there's lots of brain science about how you should write with paper and pen. And that's all true. The problem is I don't always have my journal with me when I have an idea. I don't always have my journal with me when I want to recall something or share something with somebody. I do always have my phone. So I'm a big believer in taking notes in my phone. So I'd encourage you, in the next 15, 20 minutes, grab this, put it in your phone, grab your notes, start a note that says, get your vibes right, V.I.B.E.S, and let's blast through this real quick, and I hope it helps you. So here we go. Vibes, V.I.B.E.S. V is for vision. I want us to get really, really clear, super, super clear on what do you want this year? What do you need? There are a lot of people, y'all, that are talking about, I want to get healthy. I want to lose weight. I want to get out of debt. All of those things are great, but come on, like, you wanted those things last year, right? So what do you, come on, what do you really want? You need to know what you really want, not what everybody else wants that you think, oh, that would be nice. Otherwise, you're going to wander in the wilderness. Like your life is going to become this junk drawer where you're just stuffing things in there. You're going, oh, that looks good. Oh, that looks nice. Oh, yeah, people are doing that. I need to do that too. And then you've got this junk drawer that's disorganized, that's not fulfilling, that's not getting you where you want to go. So under vision, I want you to write down 3 things, just real quick. 3 things that you really like. What do you really want this year? What do you want your one and only life to feel like? Maybe it is to grow your business. Maybe it's personal growth that you're after. You want to learn certain skills. You want to do certain things. Maybe it's a better relationship with a loved one, a spouse, a child, friends, people that are in your inner circle. Maybe you want to be more involved in your community. You're looking for a bigger sense of significance in what you do and how you live your life. Maybe it is better health. Maybe you do want to lose weight. Maybe you want to get in the best shape of your life. Maybe you want to run a marathon or a 5K, do a couch to 5K kind of program, whatever it is. Maybe it's peace of mind, right? Maybe all the people that I've talked to in the last several months, they all talk about, not they all, a bunch of people I talk to talk about they just want peace of mind, man. They want less anxiety, less worry after a brutal year. And that's legitimate, man. There are people that I talk to that they're like, Tom, I just want to survive. I just want my business to survive. I just want my family to survive. I don't want 2021 to suck like 2020 did. And y'all, that is absolutely legit. And if that's where you are, write it down under V. V is vision. We're talking about how to get our vibes right. You've got to have super, super clear vision. I is for intention. You've got to be able to control what you can control. If there's one thing that 2020 taught us, it is that there's a whole lot we can't control. So double down on things you can control and get your intention set. Right? Like create a plan out of clarity, not out of reaction, not out of feeling or in the moment, but look at your goals, those 3 things you wrote down, and identify what's really going to move the needle to that. For instance, talked with a guy yesterday, and I was telling him, look, if you want to, you say you want to get in the best shape of your life. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to go out and I'm going to get the new Apple Watch or new Fitbit, and I'm going to get some new workout clothes. I'm going to get some new Beats earbuds. And I need to get some new kicks. I need to get some new shoes, maybe some leggings or something for the cold weather, maybe a new hoodie. And I'm like, that's cool. If your intention is to look good while you're working out, then you're on the right track. If your intention is to sweat, to lose weight, to move your body, maybe you don't need all that stuff, right? Like maybe you need to just put down the Cheetos and go for a walk. Like maybe let's start there, right? Because I don't know if that other stuff will help you lose weight. I do know what helps you lose weight, and that is don't eat crap and move your body more, right? So start there. If that's your intention, start simple, man. Don't make it hard. We're going to talk about how to rig the game so you can win, but you need to turn your vision into intention and write it out. Put it on your wall, your mirror, your dashboard, put it on your computer. I'll show you. Every year I create this thing called a battle board, and it takes up the door I'm pointing to my left if you listen to this and not watching the video, but here to my left is the door to my studio, and I put it up on the door, and across the top, like this year, it will say 2021 Impact, and it'll just have a list. I just scribble things on it of characteristics that I want to develop in my life, right? Like I want to inspire, I want to encourage, I want to be healthy, I want to cultivate my energy and protect that. I want to be generous. I want to be more of a connector and help people connect with each other and that kind of thing. So those kind of things just go across the top. And then I have a block that's marked off. And again, I'll put it up and show you this when this gets produced. But I have a block I have a grid that's blocked off. And it's blocked off by month, and there's a square for January, for February, March, April, May, June, July, all the way to December. And in that block, in that grid for that month is a specific monthly plan. For January, I want to do 4 podcast episodes. I want to do 4 blog posts. I want 20 new Backpack Friends supporters at $10 a month. I have a certain planned for. I want this many date nights. I want to crank out 4 newsletters. I want to get our TV show pitch sent out and start getting feedback on that. All those kinds of things that are very specific. So when I sit down to work in the morning, I know exactly what I need to do. I don't waste time going, okay, well, should I do this? Should I do that? Right to my left is this huge instruction of exactly what I need to do. For instance, if you want to grow your leadership skills, put on that battle board, be sure and be intentional and put on there that you want to read X number of books this year. You need to do 1 book a month. You need to meet with 3 people in January who you see as good leaders and ask them for advice. You want to grow your business? I guarantee you, find a small business owner in your city, in your town, and ask them if you can just get some advice. Tell me what you've learned this year as a small business owner, as an operator. How did you survive? What would you do different? If you just ask them. I mean, there are people who would love to be able to share their knowledge with you, but you've got to be intentional about your plan. So V is for vision, I is for intention, B in vibes is bring it. I tried to get it down to one word, but I like bring it. So we're going with that. So bring it. So how do you bring it? This is tactical. This is the fun stuff. This is the tactics and the triggers that'll get you where you go. In our Impactivists group on Facebook, we talk a lot about take your meds. We even did a podcast about it. Meds, MEDS, which is meditation, exercise, diet, and sleep. If you're not taking your meds, you're not doing those 4 things, man, you are losing the low-hanging fruit in your life. Like, you can't have an extraordinary year if you're tired and you're burned out. You're burned up, you got brain fog, you're scatterbrained, you're out of breath every time you have to walk up the stairs. Guess what? That ain't your best life. So you've got to double down on what we call our meds. Meditation, some kind of meditation practice. Now, it could be actual meditation. It can be something that has a meditative quality to it, right? Like going for a walk every morning. When I run, that's very meditative. Going for motorcycle rides, I'll get out typically on Fridays and go for a ride, clear my head, and that just by myself, and that's a very meditative practice as well. Breath work, all that kind of stuff. So meditation, exercise, you got to move your body, man. Diet, don't put terrible fuel into your body. Food is also data. You're also sending data into your cells, and that's a whole thing. Sleep. If you're not getting 7-8 hours of sleep, you cannot be the best you can. This being burned out, working all the time, being a workaholic is not noble. So give that up. Forget that. Take your meds: meditation, exercise, diet, and sleep. So under B, I want you to write meds, meditation, exercise, diet, and sleep. Also want you to write this down, that success is more about your environment than your willpower. I'm going to say that again in case you're listening. Success is more about your environment than your willpower. I'm a big fan, y'all, of trying to rig the game so I can win, right? Stack the deck in my favor. Like, there's no shame in that game, man. Don't leave your growth and your success to chance. So here's how I rig my environment. Here's how I stack the deck so that I can win. I put everything right here. And if you're listening to this, I'm holding up my phone. I put everything in my calendar. I'm a big fan of block time. I put block time in my calendar. I put all my workouts, journaling, meditation, lunch, coffee dates, writing. Everything goes in my phone in the calendar. And if it doesn't get in the calendar, it doesn't happen. And we're good with that when we have appointments or business meetings or conferences or Zooms or that kind of thing. What we're not usually good with is putting things like walk, exercise, drink some water. Like I'm telling you, man, everything goes in my calendar. That one practice has taught me how to act and not react. The other thing I want you to write under B for bring it is this, and this might be the most important thing that I have learned recently. Hey y'all, it's Tom. Listen, I'm jumping in here real quick to tell you that one of the things I'm super passionate about is feeding hungry children who don't have enough to eat this weekend. It's such a big deal. My wife and I started a nonprofit charity called Backpack Friends, where we're feeding thousands of children who otherwise would be going without food while they're not at school, and it's right here in the U.S. We're working hard to make an impact in the lives and communities of those who need it most, and I would love for you to join us in that project. Just go to backpackfriends.com, and for as little as $10 a month, you can be a hero to a hungry child. See, leadership isn't about being in charge. It's about caring for those in your charge. Go to backpackfriends.com to find out how you can be a hero to a child, or just text the number 10 to 512-856-6580 to get started. But now, let's get back to the show. The most important thing that I have learned recently, and that is create a not to do list. Let me say that again. If you're not watching the video, create a not to do list. It will help you learn the 14th and 15th letters of the alphabet. It's almost like, yeah, go ahead. A, B, C, D, F, G, H, I, L, M, N, O. It almost will help you remember that those two letters, N and O, they're right there next to each other for a reason, right? So that we can remember to say no. For instance, my not to do list, it includes things like don't check email more than 3 times a day. And that's because I feel like email is like this to-do list that everybody in the world gets to add to, and it drives me nuts. So I don't check email more than 3 times a day. I don't pick up my phone until I've been up for an hour. There's a whole reason for that: cortisol and brain function and being reactive. Don't pick up your phone until you've been up an hour. I'm not going to join any more groups. Excuse me. I'm not going to join any more groups or clubs or organizations unless I quit something. It's easy to figure out where you want to go, right? The hard part is figuring out what to leave behind. So I can't do anything else until I leave something else behind, until I put it down. I'm not going to don't join any more boards until Backpack Friends has doubled in size. That's one of my personal things. On my not to-do list, it says don't eat after 7 p.m. Don't spread myself too thin. And then finally it says don't be ungrateful, disorganized, uncreative, or short-sighted. And so at the very top of my to-do list, it says to do, and I'll put up a picture of it. It says to do, and then right underneath it, it says not to do. So the first thing that I need to do is look at my not to do list. After I've reviewed that, then I can begin to add things to my to-do list. Now here's the great thing about this, man. I love it. The great thing about it is people will call me. They will message me. They will send me a text. They will send me a voice message that says, hey, I want to talk to you. I've got an idea. There's something I'd like to do. And it's blah, 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 blah. And I would love for you to be involved in that if it doesn't conflict with your not to do list, which is great. But it tells me that they've seen my not to do list and they've looked at it and they've considered that what is on their mind is probably in alignment with that. And so we're already down the road. Like I don't even have to have that conversation because we are already on the same page. And that's exciting because that means that 9 times out of 10, we can just jump into it and get started. That's really great. The other thing is under B, I want you to think about using phone triggers. We did a podcast called Get Triggered, where we talked about this, and you can look at that and get more detail. Basically, I set a 50-minute timer on my phone. Every time my butt hits the chair, I get up. I learned this from Brendan Bouchard. Every time I sit down, I set a timer, and when 50 minutes is done, I get up and I move. I walk, I stretch, I go for a walk around the block. I go and wrestle with the dogs. I go step outside and get some fresh air and some vitamin D. Something to put in a break in my routine. I have a gratitude alarm that goes off at 3 o'clock that says, what are you grateful for today? I have a 9 a.m. alarm that says, who can I serve today? That 9 a.m., is kind of the mental start of the work day. I'm up a lot earlier than that and moving and doing things, but at 9 a.m., it triggers to remind me, okay, what am I here for? I'm here to serve. Okay, so who can I serve? I have a 10 a.m., 2 p.m., and 4:30 p.m. breath alarm that just pops up, and it reminds me, stretch, breathe, and be grateful. So at those times during the day, I just stop. take a breath, do some stretches, stretch out my body, and then think of one thing that I'm grateful for. Man, I'm grateful for this Zoom call I'm fixing to be on at 10 o'clock. I'm grateful for being able to sit down with my family and have a meal last night. I'm grateful for the rain this morning, whatever it might be, just to center, refocus, realign with what I need to do, and then jump back into the day. And then at 9 o'clock, at 9 p.m., I have one that says, what do you love about today? And that pops up at 9, so that I'm building in, I'm triggering my brain to constantly be grateful, constantly be grateful. So V.I.B.E.S, V.I.B.E.S, vision, intention, bring it. E is energy management. Yeah, everybody knows what ROI is, right? So under E, write energy management, and then I want you to write ROE. You know what ROI is? ROI is return on investment. Well, what if we begin to think about how we go through our day and our return on energy? Y'all, there are things that energize me. There are things that drain me, and I've become hyper aware of what those things are. For instance, energizers for me are things like creative projects, right? They're writing and composing and making video and working on podcast stuff and meeting people for coffee or dinner or lunch or all those kinds of things. The thing is, I don't think of myself anymore as a battery that has to be recharged. I tend to think of myself as like a power plant. I don't have energy. I can produce energy. So when I'm feeling low, I'm feeling tired, I do those things to boost my energy up, because those are energizers for me. There are things that drain me, right? Just like there are things that drain you. And I'll be real honest with you. Things that drain me are things like email. Like if I have to start sifting through, that's why I keep my inbox low, because I have to start sifting through 100 emails. It's a beating. Emails like playing whack-a-mole. Things like bookkeeping, doing accounting, and all those kinds of back-end, behind-the-scenes, unsexy stuff of running a business. Those kinds of things drain me. Meetings with more than about 7 people that last more than 20 or 30 minutes can be a drain for me. Like if I have to go sit through a meeting for an hour with 12 people and we don't accomplish anything, or we're trying to brainstorm something. You've been in this meeting, you try to sit down and you try to brainstorm, you got a problem, and we're going to solve it. And we generate all these ideas. And at the end of the hour or the end of the 4 hours, whatever it is, you come up with one solution and you're going to do that one thing. You know, that's a beating, because that's a drain for me, because my approach is I would rather, let's take 30 minutes and generate 100 ideas, narrow it down to the best 15, and then let's go spend the next 4 hours executing on those top 15 ideas, and let's see what works, right? But the longer I sit, the longer I'm in that kind of environment, the more drained I tend to feel. So I won't ever spend a whole day full of drainers. I just won't do it anymore. Like if I have a day that is filled with meetings, or is a mix of meetings and email and all that paperwork, housekeeping kind of stuff, I intentionally go in and I plug in energizers throughout the day. I block time to do something creative. I block time to go for a walk. I block time to write, to play my guitar. I block time to grab lunch or coffee with a friend in the middle of the day, just so I can produce some more energy and get through the day better. That's what I do. That's the key to the way I stack things through the day. So back to vibes, the last one. V is vision. I is intention. B is bring it. E is energy. And S finally is service, right? Service to others. Guys, you have to have something bigger than yourself that you're giving to. If you can give something away that you can't ever get back to something bigger than yourself, you'll be a whole lot more fulfilled. You can make more money. You can never make more time. So when you give your time to something, to a cause, to a purpose that's bigger than you, there's something electrifying about that, right? Whether it's a community project, whether it's a faith ministry kind of thing, whether it's religious, whether it's serving the person next to you. Maybe there's a single mom next door that needs her yard mowed. Or maybe it's just, the woman who comes out of the grocery store who has her hands full and she needs help opening the door, right? When my feet, that 9 o'clock alarm goes off in the morning and my feet hit the floor and it says, who can I serve today? That puts my intention in, it's on my radar. I'm looking for someone to serve, and it can be a simple, easy, free thing to do that can help move that 1%, that 1 degree, and get you where you really want to go, get what you're really after, which is fulfillment. So I always ask, and under the letter S, who can I serve today? How am I serving the world today? One thing that I do is, again, on my phone, and I give props to Scotty Love for this. I send a voice message to at least one person every day, usually in the morning, not a text. I don't call and leave a voicemail in their inbox. I send a voice recording that just says, hey, thinking about you. Hey, I drove by the hospital. It reminded me your mom's been sick. Just hope she's okay. Just a random thing to say, hey, I'm glad you're in my life. Thinking about you. If you need something, give me a shout. Super short, super sweet. 5 seconds tops. It's just a simple little thing. 5 seconds, 5-second message to becoming a better servant leader. You know, we talk a lot about leadership is not being in charge. It's about caring for those in your charge. And that's it. That's how you do it. You serve. So this year, man, get your vibes right. V.I.B.E.S. Vision, intention, bring it, energy, and service. One last thing before we get out of here, and that is this. If you're looking for someone to serve, what if the person who needs your wisdom, what if the person who needs your influence, your encouragement, what if the person who needs the most grace from you is you? What if it's the person in the mirror that needs your understanding and your love, your compassion, your insight the most this week? Guys, if you don't love the person in the mirror, you can't serve. You just can't. You can't have a great year. You can't have an extraordinary life if you can't take care of yourself. Be sure and do that. Be sure and reach out to me, to someone else. We are here in this group, in this community, to support each other, to learn from and lean on each other. We got to get our vibes right. That is not a solo job, man. We only do that in community. So if you enjoyed this, if this brought you any value, if you learned anything, save those notes, send this to somebody, like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. That's how we grow. That's how we influence the world. Next time, we're going to talk about how you can influence 1 million people this year. Easy peasy. It's a lot easier than it sounds, but we'll do that next time. So I'll see you soon. If you need something, give me a shout. Be sure and connect with us on Facebook in our Impactivist group. That's where the magic happens. I'll talk to you later. See you soon. Hey y'all, I hope you enjoyed this segment. If you did, will you do me a favor? Could you hit the subscribe button? Could you share this episode with someone who would be encouraged to hear it? Maybe they just need a little boost right now and you could encourage them. Let them know you're thinking about them and that you thought they might enjoy it. The whole idea behind the Impactivist Show is to spread as much encouragement and empowerment as possible. I mean, let's face it, there's so much negativity and criticism in the world right now. Who couldn't use a little lift? So please, it would mean a lot if you could share and subscribe. Together, we can make a huge impact in the world. Hey, and don't forget to hop over to the Impactivist Facebook group. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you have a great day, man. I'll see you soon.
Oh my gosh, that was good.